I really connect with that. And I saw her walking with this girl, and she got to the corner of where I was standing, and she just let the girl go, and she turned up a street and she started walking off. And I looked at her and I looked at the little girl, and the school was a block away around the corner. And she made a decision that she wasn't going to walk this girl to the gate, see her in. And it was a block more and around the corner. That's all it would have taken. And I stood there and I looked. And as I'm standing there and looking at her, she walks about more than halfway up that block, headed to the corner. And I'm thinking, I need to say something. But then I'm like, well, it's her child. She could do whatever she wants, right? And then I just said, nah, I got to say something. So I ran all the way up the street, caught up to this woman, and I said, excuse me, sorry to bother you. Good morning. But that's your daughter? She's like, no, that's not my daughter. I was like, well, you know, we live in a very different time now, and it would be a really good thing that if you're walking with her, that you walk with her and make sure she gets in to the school gate. And she looks at me and she says, well, it's not my child, you know. I was doing her a favor. I was just walking with her, and she could make it the rest of the way. And I was like, listen, you don't understand. This is a serious world we live in. This is no joke. I'm not trying to tell you how to do things, but if you understand what's taking place in this world, that people are kidnapping children, people are doing very vile things to children, molesting kids. Kids are disappearing, they're turning up dead. Then you would just take just a little bit more time to just take her to that gate. It wouldn't take much out of you. She says, I'm late for work, I gotta go. I'm like, okay, I'm really sorry to bother you. You have a great day. And that's my go-to. When people get stupidly arrogant with me and they don't want to process things that make sense, I'm sorry for bothering you. You have a great day. And it broke me. And it broke me because when I ran up to her to tell her this, I had watched what I am about to share with you this morning. And when I watched this, when I discovered the depths of what is taking place in our world today, it broke me. I cried, I prayed. And I'm sharing this with you so that you can understand. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you have great-grandchildren, if you want to have children, protect your children. They're given to you, to us, by God. It doesn't have to be your child that you go a little extra way to ensure that they get where they're going. It doesn't have to be. But if you know and you care, go the little extra mile just to ensure their safety. Because what is taking place out there will blow your mind and it'll break your heart. If you say to yourself, well, here's what, I don't know what to pray for or how to pray, I am about to give you something this morning to pray for, to pray about. And it's not just kidnappings or rapes. I'm talking about there are people out there that have vile minds. They make children, they get pregnant, make babies, and then they consider it a hindrance to their life and their living. People, listen to this documentary. It is going to be quite painful, some things to hear, but listen to it and understand what you're hearing, that this takes place in our world. And I don't know, there's a possibility that it could be taking place right here in this country because children disappear. So I'm about to share with you documentary. I hope it will be insightful as you listen to it.
If anyone causes one of these little ones that believe in me to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Someone from the criminal underworld got in touch with me, told me about a girl willing to sell her child to a brothel or as an organ donor. Would it make any difference to you whether your child ended up with a sect, pedophiles, or an organ donor? Or does it matter at all?
Pedophiles is the worst option, I guess. Otherwise...
Why?
Because it's evil, right? Though, as a person who wants to sell their child, I'm in no position to judge. No, I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter after all. Honestly, I just want to get rid of a problem.
I decided to save that child and make a documentary about it. I began by removing the girl from a criminal environment and finding her a place to stay in a different town. The sale of the child was foiled by the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions on cross-border traffic. What happened when you found out you were pregnant? What were your first thoughts?
I started looking for a solution. I immediately knew I couldn't have the child, so I was looking to resolve the problem. I believe I made the best decision I could.
Do you have any emotional attitude toward the baby?
No. I'm trying to think practically.
And when you learned the baby's gender, did that little person become more real in your head?
No.
What do you feel when you look at your belly?
Nothing. Disgust. I don't like it at all. I'd like to get rid of it.
Why do you think your life would be over if you had the baby?
Because it's slavery. It's a tie. It's sleepless nights. A baby's not a dog you can teach to be alone for several hours or so. It's not like a cat, for example, that you can leave it with a litter box, a bowl of water, some food, and go away for 3 days.
Although I managed to relocate the girl to a different town, she was still controlled by an agent who wanted to sell her child.
When we already knew she was pregnant, I contacted my colleague, a well-known person in the criminal underworld, and simply told him I had a child for sale. I wanted to sell that child for spare parts to a brothel, to pedophiles. I didn't know where it'd go. I just wanted to sell it and make money. So he said he'd help me.
What do you mean to a brothel? Such small kids are used in brothels too?
Of course. It's pretty common in Germany. Meaning such small kids are first put up with a family that raises them until they turn 3 or 4, and then they are sent to a brothel.
The sale of a newborn baby is carried through in such a way that in the hospital the mother signs the child trafficker in as the father. Then he takes the baby abroad. No one will ever look for them, as the baby is officially somewhere in Europe with its father. Which is more profitable? Selling the child for organs or to a brothel?
For the mother, selling the child as an organ donor.
Do you know the final price of the organs? How much a child like that costs in Europe?
Yes, I do.
All in all, how much is the heart, for example?
I know the liver costs 70,000 Polish zlotys. It's a black market. So it's obvious only wealthy people who have a lot of money are involved. If their child is ill, this is their way to ensure its longer life.
What's the greatest demand?
The liver, the heart, the eyes, the retina.
Do you know the price of the retina or the heart?
The heart is worth almost 70,000, but euros.
What's your approach to selling a child?
Honestly, if it wasn't for this child, who is merchandise, I wouldn't be able to do it. But the thing is, If there's a possibility to earn quite good money on it, why not? They offer 50 to 150,000. It depends.
Do you believe it's a good price, 50, for a child?
Without intermediaries, I'd say it's enough.
Enough for what?
To make up for those 9 months. Where else could a young person like me earn 50,000 in 9 months?
Have you thought what you'd buy with that money?
No, but if I could afford it, perhaps a nice car.
Clothes?
A phone. New shoes.
Did you get any offers?
We are offered 80,000.
Was that offer attractive?
It seemed so at the beginning, but later I did more research and figured out someone was trying to con us in a way that instead of giving us the price in euros, they did it in Polish zlotys. It's a website where different people post their ads. Women who want to give away or sell their children. I posted an ad in which I offered a child for money. After I'd done that, I received replies from 4 families, but I also read other posts. I liked 2 of them because they were looking for girls.
How did you figure out it was trading?
Every time a little baby is involved, we know these ads have been posted by people who want to get rid of such a baby. And they don't care where the baby will end up. Our post was among them. All I cared about was that somebody took the child and paid so that I could share the money with the mother.
So you didn't care much about the children's fate?
No, I don't really. I care about my own child. My child is most important to me.
Do you believe in God?
No, I don't believe in God.
Do you believe people get punished for doing such things later in life?
No, I don't. If that was the case, I would have gotten punished long ago. Hundreds of times.
So as to not think of the unborn baby as an object and to treat it like a human being, I gave it a name. Do you think your baby has feelings? Do you identify yourself with it?
No, I don't. I think it's too small. A baby like that can't understand pain, fear, or happiness. At least that's what I think. I don't identify myself with it at all.
Do you know it can hear your voice now?
Yes, but I'm not giving it a thought.
And the beating of your heart?
I'm not thinking about it.
Why not?
Why would I? I don't feel a need for that. There's no point in thinking about it. There's no point at all. I'm here and the baby's there. We are 2 completely different worlds. At least, that's how I see it.
Did you give your baby a name?
No.
What name will you give it in hospital then?
I don't know. Perhaps I'll ask a midwife to come up with something. I have no idea. I'm not thinking about those things yet.
Once I got involved in all this, I gave the baby a name.
What is it?
Marcelina.
Very nice. Let it be Marcelina then.
I thought I'd like to think and perceive him or her as a human being and not as a dehumanized object, so that I could communicate with it in my head as with a concrete person.
I believe that giving it a name would, in a way, I guess it might have a huge impact on my head. That's why I avoid such situations. I haven't given it a name. I haven't thought about a name. I don't do such things. I'm just supposed to bear this child.
Do you consider a possibility that your emotions might change and you'll regret it?
No.
I was afraid they might open the borders at any time and the mother would flee abroad to sell the child there. In order to have control over this, I had to get to the trafficker. Do you think it's possible for me to talk to someone from Germany who specializes in child brothels?
You know what?
Or transplants?
I guess it is possible. But someone would have to set you up with the person. Even more so since those child brothels for pedophiles are mainly run by Muslims.
Why?
Their religion and culture does not prohibit them from having sex with children. They have wives or husbands who are 5 or 10 years old. So it's not a problem for them. Therefore, it's the Arabs that mainly run those places.
How can such an interview be arranged?
I'd have to ask around.
Do it then.
I will.
For over a month, I was trying to get in touch with a trafficker. What did the child trafficker say? Help me understand what I need to do.
Hold on.
Go on Skype, and then what?
Yes, go on Skype. Enter your login. Your login is an email address that has been set up for the sake of this conversation.
Gray Zone has already been set up?
Yes.
I don't have to do anything?
Exactly. This is your first and last name, Gray Zone. You will receive an invitation from him. You won't see his login, only his nick, Eminence Germany. The guy needs to feel safe. He's also afraid.
Weeks passed, but the Skype conversation didn't come through. Why does he keep postponing our interview? Is it so hard to set up?
I received a message, or on Saturday he sent me a message that he was very sorry, but he had to go away to pick up some merchandise. I figured that he was going to pick up a child. For him, a living child, a living human being is merchandise. He doesn't even call a child, he calls it merchandise, because that's what it is for him. It's an object that can be monetized. He'd sell his own mother for organs if she wasn't so old. No one wants her organs anymore.
Does he have his own child?
Yes, a son.
Do you think he has any human feelings for him?
No, because for what I know, his son cooperates with him. So it's more of a business partnership rather than a father-son relationship.
So his son kidnaps children too?
He delivers them. Despite the fact the whole thing takes place in Germany or in the Netherlands. There are organized rings here that work non-stop like ants to track those women, to get to know their daily routines and habits, to see what they do, where their children are, where they leave them. Therefore, I believe this practice is meticulously planned and carried through. It's a whole process.
It's a whole team of people that look for those women, right?
Of course it is. When I talked to him, he told me he comes to Poland and very often looks for the girls himself.
Where?
In parks, stores, restaurants, cafes. Allegedly, after so many years in the business, he has an 80% chance to successfully identify a pregnant girl who would at least be willing to talk to him.
So does he find his victim?
He told me it depends on a number of factors: clothes, behavior, or appearance. Later, when he's already talking to the girl, he told me that pretty soon he's able to tell whether he's wasted his time or could take it a step further.
How much do those girls charge for this?
About 2,000 or 3,000 euros. 5,000 euros if they are resistant. But it often happens they get no money at all.
You mean they're conned, or are they so keen to get rid of the problem?
No, they are conned. It does happen.
They are told they'll get paid in arrears, so they give their child away and are left with nothing?
Yes, or they get 100 euros to keep them smiling. Just to have them get a glimpse of cash.
So he doesn't even have to bother to kidnap the children, as it would be a serious thing. including the police hunt and everything?
No, he doesn't. But if there is demand, as he puts it, if there is demand for a particular commodity, it is sometimes a matter of hours. Then the whole machine he's involved with focuses on delivering a specific child at a specific age, so they have to kidnap it.
After many weeks, the agent told me the trafficker would contact me by phone that night. I'm really glad you finally called me and we can talk directly.
I'd rather meet in person.
That'd be great. Just tell me when we could do it.
I have to stay here for a few days. I have some business to attend to.
The trafficker broke off contact with me, and it seemed we'd never get to meet.
I was afraid it was some sort of setup. Do you know how many Polish children have no graves? So many.
The trafficker would change the time of our meeting several times. Finally, 30 minutes before the interview, he told me where to go. What kind of words do those guys use? Do they say merchandise and stuff? How does it work?
That's the way. That's the way.
What's the term?
A dolly, usually.
Does the gender matter? Or are boys called that too?
It matters. Merchandise is usually used for the boys, and dolly for the girls. A 3 or 4 years old boy, or a 3 or 4 years old girl.
What does the child's day look like? How many times a day or a week do they have sex?
It depends. You can't have a child for an hour. It's a whole day or a whole night event. At least for several hours.
Does it go on day after day? Or are there any breaks because of the drugs they're given?
If one child is exhausted, there is another one. They get some medical care. Someone takes care of them so they function and look well. Sometimes the children refuse to eat. Then they get injections. The women that look after them are kind of good aunties. Though some of them are not that good, as one of them pulls their hair until they do what she wants, or respond when she calls out their names, because at the beginning, they don't respond to anything, not even their names, as if the kid's completely turned off.
How many of those brothels do you think there are in Europe?
I know of about 4.
In which countries?
Belgium, Germany.
Where is the one in Poland?
Tri-City.
In a regular house as well?
Yes. Intercourses take place before a child is taken away for organs.
Does the client have to pay more for that?
Of course. I believe the price amounts to €500,000. And he's aware the child becomes useless after that.
From what age can you have an intercourse with a child without risking tearing them apart?
Well, I'd say they can have regular sex from the age 6 or 8 and earlier. That is when recycling begins.
Recycling?
Yes, at a VIP price. VIP entertainment. He massacres the child.
Does he murder the child or leave it to die?
Whatever turns him on. But then, the child is a wreck anyway.
How long can a child survive in such conditions?
For the VIP, satisfaction, then it won't survive. Children who are 6 or over will pull through.
How long do they stay in a brothel?
Those kids are hooked on drugs, so until they turn 14.
What then?
they get disposed of.
Disposed of, or sent to another brothel?
Disposed of. They're usually disposed of because they're no longer eligible for transplants.
Due to drug-related body exhaustion?
Yes.
In order to get to the truth, I spent several dozen hours talking to him.
Kids don't hug each other. They're afraid of being touched. I don't know any more cold-blooded woman than those from that brothel.
The ones that take part in all this?
Yes, the ones that allegedly look after the kids.
Are they ordinary women? Do they have children, husbands, their own homes? Or are they young individuals?
No.
More mature?
They're also European, and at least two of those that I have personally seen have brought their own children there. There are two girls that are sitting on my lap. Those kids took to me so much, and I love children dearly. Somehow. They caught my attention, and my eyes smiled at them. My eyes, not my face. You just can't put it in words. One grabbed my leg, the other grabbed my other leg.
How old were they? Roughly?
About 10. They started singing songs for me, both of them, and both were jealous of each other.
How did they manifest their jealousy?
They just wanted to be saved. Something I couldn't do.
When talking to the trafficker, I knew I was looking at the devil in the eye. Do those people believe in Satan? How do they worship him?
It's a sect. Those people don't even greet each other when they greet each other. I mean, they don't greet each other by just saying hello or good morning or guten Tag.
So what do they say?
They use completely different words.
What words?
I'm not going to utter them.
Why?
I promised myself I'd never say them.
What if I turn the camera off?
Turn the camera off and I'll tell you.
Have you ever seen any Satanist artifacts when you went to visit those individuals?
There's a pentagram under that inscription.
Really? The dude has a pentagram in his house?
Yes. There are those words I told you they use to greet each other. That kind of our good morning. And there's a pentagram under them.
There is the evil one behind the children's suffering. It's obvious.
Working on a girl. It's not a quick and easy process. It took us 18 months to work on a mother. She didn't know, but there was always someone watching her, whether she was taking good care of her child, whether everything was okay. At the same time, we pressed her relentlessly to abandon that bastard.
Did she sell her child to a brothel?
She took the dough, and that was it.
How much did she get?
She got around 10,000 euros in cash.
How old was the child?
4 or 5.
And she sold the kid?
Yes. She thought the kid was up for adoption by a good family. Abroad.
Where did it go?
The kid was ugly. She treated it in such a way that even I got to detest the kid as a result. She thought the kid was adopted, but in fact, it went for spare parts.
Whatever comes to light becomes known. I wanted the devil to reveal himself and show his true face. How much would I have to pay for a donor kit if I wanted to buy one from you?
Well, you know, I just get my cut. I can't really tell.
How much do you get?
I get 15,000 euros for abroad with a kid.
For carrying through the whole process of adoption?
Yes.
So if I ordered a child from you, how long would I have to wait?
Do you have any special requests? A boy? A girl?
Let's say I do, or don't. It'll be faster if I don't.
So, just a child, right?
Yes.
2 weeks.
How long does it usually take to bring a girl around? I mean, from the moment you meet her to when she decides to hand the child over.
2 or 3 meetings?
Unbelievable. How long are those meetings?
I test her, but not only me. There are several of us. We help each other. I get help. We support each other and do the job.
Okay, so what are the options from there? Brothel or spare parts?
It depends. If there's demand, they will even pull a child out of the brothel.
From the brothel for spare parts?
Yes.
So the parts are a priority.
Yes, absolutely. They bring in huge money quickly. I post an ad that I'm a businessman working abroad. I visit Poland once a month and I need company. I want to be a sponsor. And girls reply. There are lots of replies. You test them. It depends on what you're after, whether we're after the organs or a child. What our living conditions are, and so on. Then you go and hunt the girl down. It sometimes happens those children are handicapped in some way. So you start working on that. Those girls are not particularly educated or intelligent. The child stands in their way. Taking a child away from them is not a problem.
So what qualities should an ideal child-dealing girl possess?
First of all, she must be selfish. You can see right away she's ready to do anything you want. Since it's all about children, you begin by asking, do you have any children? Yes? What age? Let's say she's got a 6-year-old girl. And you immediately offer her a trip to, let's say, Masery to sail in a boat there. She's on cloud 9. You take her there for 2 or 3 days, watch her whether she calls the child or her mother. Usually it's her mother that stays with the child and keeps calling. And when she answers her mother's calls, you hear what she says and how she says things, and whether she's pissed off. Then her mother calls again, and she's yours. You pretend you're having fun. We talk. I tell her she's got a cute daughter. Of course, I am proud of her. I took after her. It turns out she has children, and that's when he cuts in. Children? Why would you take that on your shoulders? We kind of talk like a friend to a friend. And of course, we watch her reaction. We work on her.
Do you think it'll be over once you bear the child?
Yes. I think it'll be all over once I have that child. Once it gets out of my body for good. It'll go to its world while I remain in mine. I'm not going to see it ever again. I won't feel it. I won't hear it. Many people won't understand it, but most of them have never been in such a situation. Carrying a child you don't want is so devastating to your mind that it's hard to imagine.
Despite what the women were planning to do after the child was born, the agent brought a layette for Marcelina.
Pads for you.
Give me my stuff. I don't care about the child.
This is a puppy's paw. Do you know why it's here? Because underneath it says, I love my mom.
Why have you covered it?
Because the child won't have a mom. But I have not covered, I love my dad.
I approached my interview with the trafficker as if it was a police interrogation, where you often go back to the same issues in order to establish the truth.
I found about 500 such girls on the internet. If a mother goes abroad to give her child up for adoption, the mother ends up in a brothel, and she gets hooked on drugs. And so does the child. A child is a kind of merchandise that brings pure profit as it requires no investments and earns its living by working in a brothel. And when there's a bid for an organ, it goes on an operating table for disassembly. The mother also goes for spare parts.
Were you afraid of meeting such a person?
No.
How come?
I believe a person should be approached in a holistic manner. There's a task to be done. Since he's a professional, I also try to be professional without asking unnecessary questions. Brief statements, short questions, whatever I need to know, whatever's essential.
Did he make a good impression on you?
He won me over with his approach and composure.
Those girls think they'll return to Poland with a lot of money. They think they'll get rich, but are unaware they're on their way to a brothel. They don't know what'll happen to them, or that they'll get hooked on drugs or lose their freedom. Do you know what I felt while recruiting those girls? All I cared about was the money.
And what happens with kidnapped children?
Children are kidnapped only in urgent cases. There's a problem and an urgent transplant is needed. That's when kidnapping takes place.
Why is kidnapping so rare?
Because it's dangerous. Dangerous for the organization. It doesn't pay to keep a kidnapped child in a brothel. It would be a total disaster if such a kid was found. The client doesn't have to come to the brothel in his own car. He is brought there. The meeting spot is established earlier. It's different with different clients. Even the clients can't see each other. The moment the client informs he wants to kill the child, a whole group is immediately set up to pick up the organs. We schedule it so that everything overlaps, so that we have a recipient ready. Whatever can we say?
Is the child still alive when it's being taken to the operating room?
It's done on the spot in the villa.
Is that where the organs are retrieved?
Yes, there's a special sterile room there. When they torture those children, the children get broken. Their arms get broken. Their legs get pulled out of the hips. They often get beaten up.
Do you mean those little babies get their legs pulled out?
Yes.
So it's sadism.
Yes, sadism. Infants always suffer. They all do. Later, that child is useless.
Do you ever think you might get punished for that at some point of your life?
No, I never do. I believe if you do not think about such things, they never happen.
I wanted to be at Marcelina's birth, but it turned out the mother couldn't wait until her due date. Fearing for the child's life, the only solution was a day-to-day C-section. Marcelina was born at 12 p.m. Healthy. She scored 10 points and weighed 3 kilograms. The mother wanted no contact with the baby whatsoever. She told me the worst moment came when Marcelina suddenly sneezed and looked her in the eye.
I don't know how she's doing. I just want to get out of the hospital as soon as possible to cut myself off.
I came to the conclusion that in order to have 100% guarantee that Marcelina would be safe, I had to save her by myself. I moved to the negotiation phase, and I asked the evil one what I had to do to save a child. wants to sell a child for organs or to a brothel through you. What deal do I have to make with you to stop it from happening?
Then we would be taking money.
Is there anything apart from money that could motivate them?
You'd have to come up with some sort of deal with them. But you work in a different sector, so you won't make a deal with them. They only care about money. What?
What type of a deal?
Some sort of exchange? A body for a body?
So I'd have to give them some girl.
You'd have to do something bad.
Sell a girl for a
You'd
kid?
have to do something bad.
Or another kid for a kid?
Exactly.
Or what if I exchanged an adult person for that kid?
100%.
That would also work?
100%.
It would work for sure?
Yes. But for what you want, you'd have to pay additionally. So here, there would be some amount to pay. Or an exchange. Or barter.
So if I offered a guy or a woman, I'd have to pay additionally because they would be worth less than a child?
You'd have to pay additionally one way or another. But if someone was in an urgent need for organs, you wouldn't afford such a deal.
If we made a deal with those people that we'd sell them a child and they'd give us money, we wouldn't be able to back out. Because for those people, too much money is at stake. They only care for real American dollars and nothing else. These people are devoid of human emotions. So if they are able to sell an alive child for organs, they will not think twice to cut our throats. It won't be a problem for them whatsoever.
I solved that problem. I took the baby over from the traffickers and I saved it from being sold, and no one cut anybody's throat. Soon the mother came to a decision to give the baby up for legal adoption. The mother didn't care what would happen to the baby. Taking into consideration the set of circumstances, I recommended to her that a Catholic facility should take care of the adoption. I was waiting for the date of the court hearing, during which the mother was to confirm if she was actually giving her baby up for adoption. In the meantime, she went to a Catholic adoption center. At one point, the trafficker realized that during our meetings, he told me too much.
See the way you look at me. And I see in your eyes. You know what? I don't want to see you anymore. I don't want it. I saw your eyes. The stuff we talked about. I do it. I do it too. Do you know that I've already called all my friends? And I asked them if they can imagine me as a pedophile. Do you know how bad I feel about that?
A man has no chance to win with a devil because the devil is a million times more intelligent than we are. What we deal with is horrible, manipulative, merciless power. But when a man is close to God, then devil doesn't stand a chance. And it roars angrily like a lion because it knows that it has already lost. Finally, the day of the court proceedings came, during which the mother was supposed to confirm her consent to give Marcelina up for adoption. I wanted to have proof this would happen.
I'll start recording. We've been waiting here for 20 minutes already.
Do you agree to that statement?
Yes, I do.
And this consent is given in full conscience, isn't it? Okay, let's print the protocol.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
If I manage to save one child, together we're able to save thousands.
So, good morning again. That you just heard was a documentary about the trafficking of children and the mothers of children. And honestly, every time I have to watch this, my heart breaks. Because I remember my own mother growing up saying, if I can't take my children with me, I am not going. And I am alive today because I had parents who ravenously protected me. And you have young girls out there making babies and saying, this child is a burden to me. It's going to keep me back from living my life. Well, if you didn't want a child, you shouldn't have been having sex. It is the only 100% foolproof way of not becoming pregnant. Not condoms, not birth control, just straight not having sex. You could live your life as you want. Don't make a child and then call it a hindrance to you, a vile object inside your body. You know, I think about all the people, all the young women who, for whatever reason, have left their baby in a dumpster, in a garbage bag, somewhere in a side street, in the bush somewhere, or babies who've been left that have never been found. Now, I'm saying all this in a bit of hostility and anger, but I'm also very conscious that there are girls out there who get pregnant and they're scared. They're terrified, genuinely, and they don't know what else to do. And there's help for you. There's people who will help you. Don't give your child away to someone you don't know, you never heard of, because you don't know where that child will end up. There are wealthy people helping this business to continue growing and going and going. They have brothels for children that adults with billions of dollars will come to. And I tell people, stop looking at these stars and these people with money. You don't know what they're into. They're not your stars. They're not people you want to emulate because you don't know the core of who that man is. You want to see the truth of a man? Give him money. Give him enough that he could do whatever he wants, and you see how real he is. They consider children to be merchandise. Merchandise, a child. They would kill a child and use that child for spare parts to take from that body and put it into, while the child is still living, they kill it, take the parts out and put it in another child. Because that's all that child is worth. This girl wants to sell her child for money, clothes, phones. That's what she's saying is worth 9 months that this baby comes into the world. I'm alive today because my mom carried me for 9 months and didn't consider me so burdensome, and I was a burden. I was a tyrant. But she loved me enough to put up with me and raise me that I could speak to you today. People are carrying children that they hate. It's in my womb and it's vile. I want to get it out of me. Why are you having sex? Why? I listen to the woman who wants to sell the child. She wants to take the child from the girl and sell it so she could make money and split that money with the girl. But she's calling the child traffickers vile, devoid of human emotion. People that are that. And she herself is willing to sell a baby and doesn't care where it ends up. You have evil calling evil evil. That's the height of craziness to me. I thank God for my parents. I listened to this girl say that as long as she doesn't think that it is evil, it's okay. It won't, nothing bad will happen to me. 'Cause I don't think it's evil. It's not bad. Women, be careful. People are watching you, watching how you move, watching what you think of your child, watching how you entreat with your child. Be careful. Watch where you go. I remember one time during COVID, a woman parked a car because the car park was full. She parked the car a ways away in the dark. It was at night, in the dark, to walk over to a food place. And she got out the car, and as I'm driving by, she gets out of the car with her little child, her son. And I reverse my car and I say to her, ma'am, please don't park your car here. There's spaces inside where there's lights. Park your car and then walk in with your child. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God must have sent you. I had never seen this documentary before. But I'm telling you now that it is dangerous in this world. And if we don't pray, then we will lose our children. Or our children will be violated. Forget even being kidnapped or taken away. Your daughter or your son can be raped, and it can twist their mind in a way that they may not be able to come back from. Take the extra time and walk your child to that gate. Tell your daughter to walk her child to the gate, or her son to the gate. Tell your son to take that child to the gate. Tell the friend that's taking them, take them to the gate. Ensure you see them in. If they have to leave them and walk away, ensure you see them in. This is all the time I have for today. I thank you for listening. I want to end in prayer. God and Father, I just give you thanks for today. Give you thanks for the opportunity to share this documentary. I pray in Jesus' name that it would cause change. I pray that it was in time to save a child who would be violated. I pray that parents would truly hear. I pray that those who are pregnant would care. That they would think about their child as a prized possession from you, and that they would care and take care of them in a way that they would not have before, Lord. I just give you thanks, praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Thank you.
George, big boss of the business. When I want to listen to a radio station, I listen 91.9 FM.
We are the street. The street. The street. 919 FM. The only radio station bringing perfect balance between entertainment and talk. Updating you with current affairs and social issues.
So what, we should just sit down and take the foolishness that's being meted out because of you feel that all you're real bad?
Right? Unlike his situation that I don't even want to go back and bring up and highlight.
You don't have a good record where that is concerned?
Having you in the loop with trends and entertainment. Providing music that lives on.
Darling, I feel the disco.
And spiritual food for the body, mind, and soul.
We're not taking that.
The Street. 919 FM.
Look how the place on fire now. Mass, come again. A spirit to bring the power down. Mass, come again. Give them the drum is done now. Mass, come again. And everybody chanting now. Oh, 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 oh. Look at the people coming down. Oh, 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 oh. Together, now we strong. Oh, oh, oh. Look at the people coming down. Now we strong. I hear a distant melody blow through the hills of Lavantie. Music powerful and sweet, and when the rhythm start to beat, look how it take away the pain. I can't explain it in my veins. Find myself down in Port of Spain. I'm not the same, so got to play every creed and race. Everybody tongue in the heart of Port of Spain. Mass, come again. Well, look how the place on fire now. Mass, come again. A spirit to bring the power down. Mass, come again. Give them the drum is done now. Mass, come again. And everybody chanting now.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street. 919 FM.
The generals are ready.
Militant enforcement is required.
Nothing will stop the assignment.
Army
Festival City, Queen's Park, Savannah, the center of the seismic explosion. Gates open at 9 p.m. Friday, February 10th.
Civilians prepare for Bungee Garland, Fan Lions, and the Asylum Band.
Back on the stage, finally we on stage.
Hey! Test the band.
Don't tell me about work in the morning unless we talking
Iwer George,
Patrice Roberts,
the A-Team Band,
Nadia Batson,
Farmer Nappy,
Mikel Teja,
Lyrical,
look at how it arch.
Viking Dingo,
Benjai,
Lil Bit,
J-Down,
Nyla Blackman,
Skinny Fabulous.
Emotions running high. We end up in the sky. Just running down we high. Cause we ready for
and many more.
Tickets are going fast. Secure yours today at Cache outlets nationwide.
In Excess, Port of Spain, and Arima.
Java Nation, San Juan branch only.
Better Deal Supermarket, Aranguez.
Crosby, St. James.
And online at ticketfederation.com.
Army Fest.
The seismic explosion.
And the safest vet in the carnival.
Army Fest 23.
The vet of the century.
What TV TV is here. And for Carnival 2023, we bringing the Calypso 10 straight to your big screen TV. WAC TV is bringing pay-per-view direct to you. Log on to WAC.tv and click pay-per-view event you want to see. All the culture you can handle. Calypso, steel pan, mass, brass. Purchase individual events or pay for a season pass. Even if you missed it, you can do video on demand. Watch whenever you want. Log on for details.
Meet me in the Barracan. Make sure you get tickets early, got them tickets selling already. We have icons, yes, we have legends, and the young upcoming sensations. Become party social commentary. We have something for everybody. Pressure for them, Joker, Faker, and Lows. Come to Kaiso House.
Kaiso House in the Barricade, Queen's Park, Savannah, January 27th to February 17th, 2023. Tickets available at
Kaiso House in Savannah, Crosby's Music Center, St. James, Kambule Restaurant, San Fernando, Ursa Complex, Grand Bazaar, and Tuco Main Office, Jonegam Avenue, Belmont. Meet me in the Barricade.
Calling all social media influencers, carnival babies, and boat ride lovers. Get ready for TikTok on the Sea. On board the Embassy Yacht Carnival Saturday, 18th February 2023. Boarding 3 p.m. at the Hyatt Waterfront in Port of Spain. Sailing 4 to 7 p.m. Tickets cost TT $200. Includes free shots and cutters on entry. Plus, giveaways from Fab Look Beauty Bar 868 and $1,000 in cash. Courtesy World of Things online retail store. Performances by Bubbles and Yankee Boy, alongside DJs Princess Chow, Nigel Snipes, Razor, and more. Tickets available online at islandetickets.com. Bobby's Bar Curette, Shens 868-461-4159. Cross 346-380-9679. TikTok on the Sea is hosted by Lady Hype and powered by Campari, Magnum, the World of Things online retail store, and Cross Promotions. Miss this? Your mad is niceness outside.
Hungry for savings, oh yeah, yeah. The Bacchanal box will save you plenty. 2 years now we waiting for Carnival. The Bacchanal, all in the road and we saving. With KFC, the best deals, oh gosh. The Bacchanal box, KFC Bacchanal box. The savings never stop. The Bacchanal box, KFC Bacchanal box.
Hungry for savings this carnival? Come satisfy it at KFC with the Bacchanal box. 2 pieces of chicken and 1 regular side for $31.95.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. For the program, God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood." Remember, every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message with Gospel in the Bones Ministry, right here on the Street 919 FM.
The journey's almost
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yo, this is your boy Ziggy Rankin, and right now you're listening to the Titans of Democracy. You don't know. Real talk.
pleasant good morning to each and everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Titans of Democracy right here on the street 919 FM. Let me thank the Heavenly Father for bringing me here safe, sound, and all together in one piece. Pleasant good morning going on to my entire family. Good morning to the lovely Miss Sharon Felix, Mr. Dominic Romain, and their entire families. Good morning to you, all our callers, all our listeners, to all of our viewers online. For those of you that are always locked on with us, it's always a pleasure to have you guys right here on the inside with us. Let me also say good morning to my friends and family in Tobago. Good morning. Hope you all are doing great. Pleasant good morning, Auntie Pat, Nats. Morning. We also say good morning to the management and staff of the Street 919 FM. Good morning to Mr. Iwer George and his entire family. Oh yeah. So guys, I hope that Tobago is hearing me. Can somebody please indicate? Let me know that Tobago is hearing me. What I'm going to do is I am going to get into our online papers at this time for today, Wednesday, the 25th of January 2023, and see what's happening in our online dailies. Okay, so we're going to do that, and when I come back from that, we will probably open up the lines and just take a few morning greetings, right? Because as you guys know, the show is very, very tight. Going over this. Oh my word. Right. So let me see if I can get this and turn you down. Right, so let me see if Tobago is what's happening in the sister Isle. Oh my, okay guys, so alright, so I will get in contact with this. Right, so headlines in the Express: gas release. U.S. gives TNT green light to develop Dragon Field in Venezuela. Leave it there, morning. Oh gosh. Continuing in the headlines, second KFC driver robbed. Mom begs for her life. Boy 16 gunned down. Silent. So let's go see what's happening. So Coast Guard trio charge. 3 Coast Guard officers have been charged with the murder of Maraval resident Teddy Sylvester. The 3 men had the capital charge laid against them after we get in quickly. Right. After homicide detectives received the go-ahead from Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Roger Gaspard SC on Monday night. Guys, hold a sec for me. I need to... Sorry about that. Gunmen run amok. Darshan Ramnath's concern for his grandmother was the reason the 16-year-old went outside his St. Augustine home yesterday afternoon after he heard gunshots. This led to him being fatally shot. He was one of the two people killed yesterday afternoon when gunmen ran amok on Warren Street in St. Augustine. Hey boy. TSC defends transparency in filing vacancies. The Teaching Service Commission, TSC, has defended its commitment to transparency in filing vacancies in the nation's schools as a row develops with, with denominational schools over the selection process for primary school teachers. Coast Guard officers charged with murder. The PM's big announcement. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is expected to announce that Trinidad and Tobago has been granted approval by the United States government to import much needed, much needed natural gas from Venezuela. This is a major development that could significantly help TNT meet its natural gas shortage and comes after months of efforts by the Rowley administration to broker a deal that would see Venezuelan gas come to Point Lisas. Good morning, Mr. Lever there. I know he wouldn't call in today. Ministry warns of contaminated drugs, risk of death or injury. The Ministry of Health, MOH, wishes to advise the public of a medical product alert issued by the World Health Organization that identifies substandard, substandard contaminated pediatric medicines in the WHO regions of Africa, Southeast Asia, and Central Asia. 15-year-olds missing. 2 15-year-olds, one from St. Augustine, the other from Tobago, have been reported missing to the police. Woman 91 followed from bank, dragged from car and robbed $60,000. Woman abducts toddler, escapes in stolen police vehicle. What? Imbert seeks $815.6 million more for 2 ministries. Point Fortin Highway opens in 2023. Fed promoters complain of extortion by cops. TSC calling meeting of school heads, but Mahasaba wants answers. Wow. What is this Fed promoters thing now? Fed promoters have accused the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, of extortion and yesterday called for clear policy on the assignment of officers to party events. The Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association, TTPA, said the industry is burdened this year by its obligations to have a TTPS presence at events, with large numbers of officers being assigned to smaller and newer fetes at huge cost to promoters. TTPA President Jerome Rome Priscilla said, in the absence of clear policy and legislation, Fed promoters are being assigned large police strengths but are not told the criteria used by the TTPS to gauge the number of officers required at any given event. He said while the TTPS was welcome at events, the emphasis was placed on patron safety, and police must clarify how various strengths or sizes of groups are assigned. Priscilla said the TTPS is imposing millions of dollars in costs on event holders and gave an example of one event where a promoter was billed over $100,000. He cited another party at which 97 officers were assigned to 500 patrons at a cost to the promoter of around $53,000. Association Public Relations Officer Paige De Leon, said some promoters have been made to pay up to $250,000. Priscilla said the TTPS bill to promoters for this carnival would be in the millions of dollars, because if you are having $100,000 for one event and we have over 100 events. Priscilla has called on Attorney General Reginald Armour to look at legislation that may help the matter, and promoters intend to lawyer up on the issue. The TTPA said a lack of policy is allowing corrupt members of the TTPS to take advantage of the promoters. We are not saying we don't want police at these events. We are saying there must be a structured approach, he said. Priscilla said the industry was already challenged as promoters attempt to recover financially from a 2-year shutdown on carnival and entertainment. He further claimed fetes were getting less patronage this year, and promoters were also coping with increased costs of operating. Every other industry has regulations, so why not the entertainment industry? Priscilla stated at a news conference at Queen's Hall. We are calling on the TRPS to get their act together and let us have some regulations in place. The TTPA intends to file a request under the Freedom of Information Act for information seeking clarity on the TTPS role in licensing arrangements for carnival events. I would. So these are the stories making way in the Express. Over to the Newsday before we go to the ads. U.S. approves Trinidad and Tobago Venezuelan gas deal. Dragon dances again. Liming man killed in El Socorro. Touchstone CEO. We may lose money with higher oil prices. 2 shot dead in St. Augustine. 40 homicides in 24 days, more murders than days. Pantrinbago confirms mix-up. St. Mary's Government Primary moves from 10th to 2nd place. Arima gets EMA air quality monitoring system. Okay. 3 Coast Guard officers in court for murder. Schoolboys 16 among 2 murdered in St. Augustine. $1 million drug bust in Port of Spain port. Female KFC delivery driver robbed at gunpoint in Siparia. Woman dies in hospital hours after accident. Bail for 8 cops charged for misbehavior in FUL probe. Ministry warns of unsafe pediatric meds. Carl announces additional flights for Carnival. Police seek help to find 3 missing people. Man's body found near Felicity Public Cemetery. Judge orders cops to return guns seized from firearms dealer. Engineering firm loses $11.2 million appeal against Udicott. High Court Master Sarah De Silva to get her course. And we'll leave it there for now, guys. We go to the break and we'll be right back. So keep it locked to the Street 919 FM. We'll be right back.
The street comes alive with the mother of all carnival.
Everybody, let us meet on the street.
91.9 FM, the soca frequency from inception.
Plenty vibes, we just shed the light. We bring the heat on the street.
It's the mother of all carnivals.
Yeah, what I need, a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of rock. Right down is non-stop. Oh, you don't know how to line my walk. This there go be water mix up with beer. We jump in, yeah. This there go be water mix up with beer, 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 beer. Yo!
This is the mother of all carnival.
The mother of all soca. The official station and the destination. The Street 919. All new soca full. All new soca full.
All soca, all day.
Tell the DJ, play some soca music today. You see, this carnival, I also like garbage.
Nobody does it better than on the street.
Iwer George, big boss of the business. When I want to listen to a radio station, I listen 91.9.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
Me say you wake up in the morning and you just realize NCRH vaccinating again. And you're ready to hit the road and you're ready for the road because you know you are vaccinated. Show me your card, where your card, where your card, where your card, where your vaccination card, where your 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 card. Go and let them stamp your vaccine card. Jump up, wave it, let me see it. Wave it, let me see it. Wave it, Don't end up playing mass in your bed. Take the vaccine instead. Aye. So don't wake up Tuesday morning and have to stay in bed because you are not vaccinated. And the truck ready to go and the drink ready to flow. Get your vaccine fast, let we go. Hey, show me yo, this is Iwer George, the big boss in the business. And go and get vaccinated. Don't end up spending carnival in your bed. Get vaccinated instead. The boss in the business says so.
This is a message from the North Central Regional Health Authority.
TV is here, and for Carnival 2023, we bring in the Calypso 10 straight to your big screen TV. WAC TV is bringing pay-per-view direct to you. Log on to WAC.tv and click pay-per-view event you want to see. All the culture you can handle: Calypso, Steel Pan, Mass, Brass. Purchase individual events or pay for our season pass. Even if you missed it, you can do video on demand. Watch whenever you want. Log on for details.
The largest gathering of women ever. The world's biggest soca superstars. Again. Patrice Roberts with the A-Team Band. That is what I have been balling. Nadia Batson and Sass. Party in the road when Remington say that he met a voice.
All kings of soca will be there to support the queens of soca. This thing on the beat and I'm like a man.
Skinny Fabulous, Lyrical. Mama Nappy, Problem Child. Iwer George.
There will be water mix up in here. We jump in.
Urban Owls. Adamo. Moto. Special guests and big surprises.
4, 3, everybody and them whip.
Get tickets now at Cachets Nationwide. Extra Foods Grab Bazaar. IslandEtickets.com. For more info, call 774-5555. The official ladies event in Carnival. Soca for her. 23. Friday, February 3rd.
The hardest fete in Carnival returns. Army Fest. This February 10th.
Festival City, Queen's Park, Savannah. Gates open at 9 p.m.
The biggest stars in soca are coming.
Kiss the band.
Don't tell me about work in the morning unless we talking hard work.
Mikel Tesha.
Nadia Batson.
Lyrical.
Patrice Roberts.
Farmer Nappy.
Viking Ding Dong.
We wanna drink and party all day.
The Asylum Vikings featuring Faye and Lions and Bungie Garland.
I come here for no stand up. I come to party with my
be water mix up with beer. We jump in there.
Nyla Blackman,
Skinny Fabulous,
Today I go jump like I never jump, wave like I never wave.
and many, many more.
Army Vet,
Queen's Park, Savannah.
Friday, February 10th.
Army Fete is powered by Guinness. Anytime is Guinness time. Stag, a man's beer. Magnum tonic wine. Campari, Blue Waters, Digicel in everything carnival. And Forest Park Punch and Rum. Army Fete. Your Fete, my Fete. Still the safest Fete in carnival.
Get ready for the return of the Embassy Yacht to Tobago. February 22nd to 25th and March 3rd to 5th. Boarding at the Pigeon Point Jetty. Cost is $16,500 and comes with house DJ, sound system, fully stocked bar, cleaning crew, and security. For more information, call or WhatsApp 281-4723-399-5959 or 324-4227. Email us at coralvisiontt@gmail.com or find us on Facebook and Instagram at Embassy Cruises for bookings.
Guess who's back again?
Juju Love is back on the street.
It's me, Juju Love, by public demand, along with my sidekick, Mr. Aruga. We take no prisoners.
Junior Davy is back on the street, Monday to Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. Juju Love, only on the street, 919 FM.
Bruce Wayne and Sexy Flex present Soca on the Boat 5. The return to Soca. On Sunday, 5th February 2023. On board the luxurious Embassy Yacht. Boarding 3 p.m., sailing 4 p.m. DJs, MC Duke and Selector Kachi.
Yo, this is MC Duke and I will be on Soca on the Boat 5. Return to Soca.
Dr. Ross.
This is the musical surgeon, Dr. Ross, and I will be on board. Soca on the Boat 5. Return to Soca.
And Bruce Wayne and Mr. Voice.
Soca on the Boat 5. The return to Soca. Yours truly, Mr. Voice. I will be there at his tap.
Get your limited early bird tickets. At $200. Get your tickets at The Police Mess, Long Circular Road in St. James, The Streets, 919 FM on Marvel Road, and Candy Crush, booth number 6, Caranage Fish Fry. Or call Bruce Wayne and Sexy Flex at 340-2016 or 388-2271. No oversized coolers allowed and no glass bottles allowed. Soca on the Boat 5. The return to Soca.
Look back, hey. Look back, hey.
It's real. I'm in the back of the class. Hear this. All of that is feeling. We dance. All that feeling. Yeah. Tell them we could mash up fete, we could mash up show, we could get on ball, do all that we know. We could jump, we could wave, we could this, we could that, we could make we rag and them blow. Because we fully done, say why? Tell them that we fully done. It's alcohol in we tank, and we had it fully blank, we don't see, yeah. Hey, it's nothing that bad like way, cause we bring the energy, yeah. Tell them look how we dance, we see, we doing what we want. We don't see. Tell them we fully dance. We don't see. Lad. Tell them we doing what we. Tell them we fully don't see. Yeah. Hey. Tell them we don't have no brain. Mind it don't fly out and play. Sense gone in a garbage bin. We don't see. Yo. Hey. Drink rum and we head it fly. No energy multiply. Tell them to make we dash we shoot. Make we throw up hands. Make we run like we full weapons and biting hands. Make we shake down the fence and throw down the bands. And spin the place from the like a fan. Tell them we fully done it. Why? Tell them that we fully done. It's not all in we tank. And we had it fully blank. We don't see. Yeah. Hey. It's nothing that man like way. Cause we bring the energy. Tell them look how we you know just like me. Just let's give away for free. You don't have to pay a fee, the style. Yeah, ha! It's no sense and energy. And rub is the remedy. So make we dash with shoes, make we show up hands, make we run like we full weapons with biting hands, make we shake down the fence and throw down the bands, and spit the place strongest like a fan. Tell them we fully done it, yeah. Hey, tell them that we fully done. It's a calling we tongue, and we headed fully black, we done it, hey, yeah. It's nothing that mad like we, cause we bring the energy, yeah. Tell them we fully done. We done, we done, we done, we done, we done.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.
So welcome back. If you're just joining me, you're locked on to the Street 919 FM. This is your Titans of Democracy, and we're continuing in the Newsday. So, stick fighting king ready to defend crown. Woman arrested after stealing police car to kidnap 1-year-old girl. Hey, okay, so they arrested her. Nice. Retrieved the 1-year-old. So, a 24-year-old Chamflair woman is facing charges of kidnapping and theft after she reportedly stole a police car from a police station to kidnap a toddler in Arima on Monday afternoon. Police said the toddler's parents, ages 19 and 20 years old, were at their Tumpuna Road, Arima home at around 2 p.m. when they were visited by the woman whom they know. The child's parents briefly left the house with the woman inside, and on returning after about 5 minutes noticed that their daughter was missing. The parents were later informed by neighbors that the woman had taken their child, and the police were notified. Hours later, at around 10:50 p.m., officers of the Northern Central Division Task Force West were on patrol and saw a police car being driven by the woman on the Eastern Main Road, Tagarigua, near the Eddie Hart Savannah. The officers tried to stop the car, but she sped off. They subsequently intercepted the car and rescued the child. Investigators said the police car was stolen from the Cunupia police station and the woman remains in custody. Officers took the child to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex Pediatric Department for medical examination. What the hell is this? So guys, those are the stories making way in the Newsday. We go over to the Guardian, and headlines in the Guardian: Dragon can dance. TNT gets access to Venezuelans' Dragon field as the U.S. agrees to waive energy sanctions. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says the United States' decision to waive sanctions against Venezuela, clearing the way for Trinidad and Tobago to import natural gas from our neighbors, is a significant and happy day for him, his team, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and the CARICOM. Excellent. Excellent. Oh gosh, this again. Right. Energy Chamber, Dragonfield waiver a major opportunity. The Energy Chamber of TNT says it welcomes the U.S. government's granting of a waiver for this country to be able to develop the Dragonfield. 3 Coast Guardsmen appear in court on murder charge. Work on Queen's Park Savannah's North Stand resumes today. Well, that would have been yesterday. Pharmacy board boss in new battle with members. Police identify men killed in Barataria sting operation. Junior Pan champs say north, south, east, west Naparima is the best. U.S. Vice President Harris talks energy security, climate resilience with Dr. Rowley. Schoolboy 16 among 3 more killed. Motivational speaker tells politicians, stop being blind. Judge orders murder accused to pay state for failed lawsuit. Construction company loses $12 million case against Udicott. Judge orders TTPS to return seized guns, ammo, and to firearms dealer. Teen murdered in St. Augustine. Another KFC driver held up at gunpoint. Single mom, I begged for my life. TNT records 10 deaths, 381 cases in last week. New Point Highway to be completed this year, says Sinanan. Student sustains serious eye injury during school altercation. What the hell? And these are the stories that are making way in the Guardian, the Express, and the Newsday at this time. What's going on there? I didn't realize that I froze.